and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Okay? Now, the word covet, right there, when it says, and they covet fields, talking about the so-called white man, and his so-called term, manifest destiny, which that's what we read in Habakkuk 1 and 6. Alright? It says they covet fields. The word covet is Strong's Hebrew 2530. Hamad. It says to delight in, desire, covet, delight, pleasant, beautiful, lust. And the word lust is an overwhelming desire or craving to have an instance or obsessive desire. So they was obsessing over it. Okay? The word fields is Strong's Hebrew 7704, which is shadah, which means a field, country, land, ground, soil, domain of town. And that's what they do. They'll see the massive cities, they'll see the lands, and then they'll take it from the people, from the children of Israel. You so-called Native Americans, you're Israelites. And it says, and they took them by violence. The words violence right there is Strong's Hebrew 1497, gazal, which means to pluck off, strip or rob, spoil, take away, consume, torn, exercise force or violence. Strong, and it goes back to the root word Strong's Hebrew 1498, gazal, which means robbery, plunder, thing taken away by violence. By violence. Okay? So Micah 2 and 2. And they covet fields. Who's the they? The so-called white man. That bitter and hasty nation, which is known in the scriptures as the daughter of the Chaldeans, the daughter of Babylon. Okay? Which that's speaking about America. Alright? And it says in houses. Okay? Because they took it by violence. And it says houses. You look up the word houses in Strong's Hebrew 1004, which is bayath, which means a house, family, household, or land. So they took this by force. They put them into slavery. See, a lot of people don't understand the Native Americans went into slavery. We fit the curses of slavery. Alright? Unlike you simple ass niggas, you always throw the fact out about the Cherokee or the five so-called civilized nations, which was the Choctaw, Chickasaw, the Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, Cherokee, and Seminole. But not all of them practiced slavery. Okay? And not all of them was for slavery. Okay? Usually the ones that took on slavery, they were terrorists. Meaning what? Their father was of the white man's descent that got with a native woman. Alright? Because they understood certain other tribes went their property and titles and stuff, they was going by the mother's line, which that's not biblical. That's not even factual. Your lineage, your genealogy goes through your fathers, or your ethnicity goes through your fathers, not your mother. But because the so-called white man is the devil, he found that out, and then he got in amongst those tribes by marrying into the tribe, by dealing with those women. And then all of a sudden now their children are Cherokee. That's or they're of this particular tribe. That's some fucking bullshit. You are what your father is. Alright? Those were the ones that was engaging in slavery and profiting off of it. Then you had some Uncle Tomahawks that went that route because they wanted to make money or be equal with the white man. Or you had some that did it to actually not to enforce slavery on the so-called Negroes, but to treat them better than the so-called white man. They just had them like as servants and stuff. You even had some that will get slaves, then marry them, have children with them so their children could be free. But you niggas don't know that. You niggas don't do no research. So you just hate natives. You hate us for no reason. Okay? Fucking simple ass niggas. Okay? It said, and take away houses. Okay, they took away people's houses, their families. Okay, and that's part of the curses. This is Deuteronomy. I'm just gonna go with the spirit. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Okay, they went into captivity. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Okay, because they took away man's families, they broke up their families and households, and they took their land. Micah 2:2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Now it says they oppress a man. The word oppress is Strong's Hebrew 62:31, ishak, which means to press upon, i.e. oppress, defraud, violent, overflow, wrong, deceive, deceitfully gotten, oppression, violence. Alright, and when it says a man, Strong's Hebrew 1397, gabar, which the word gabar means a valiant man or warrior, valiant, possessing valor, brave, a brave person, to be strong, valor, courage, and boldness, as in battle, bravery, which that all goes back to the North American Indians. Okay, so it said they oppress a man. They was oppressing the warriors. How did they oppress them? They said, okay, if you're gonna be with us, you become farmers. You stop being warriors. You become farmers. You become domesticators. Okay, you become husbandmen, vine dressers, carpenters, and all this other bullshit. Besides being what the Lord created you to be, He created you to be warriors. Okay? That's why you had a lot resistant. And when they did resist it, what happened? The white man invaded them. He entered in like an enemy and he destroyed them. Okay? Fucking devil, man. So they oppress a man and his house. And the house is going back to Bayath, which is a house, family, household. So they oppress this warrior, then they oppress his family. Okay? Even a man and his heritage. Okay? And the word heritage right there is Strong's Hebrew 51:59, nachala, which means something inherited, an estate or portion, possession, property, inheritance. What's part of our property, inheritance? Number one, it was the land. Okay, they took it. Number two, they took away our languages. Okay, which go back to Hebrew. Okay, like for an example, the word tomahawk is tahamakan, which is Hebrew. Okay, all right. They make us stop speaking our languages. All right. Okay, they took away our dress. All right, they said we supposed to dress like them. All right, that's how we was overcome, by the sword. All right, this is Amos. Amos 1:11. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever." Talking about the so-called white man. Okay, we are his brother. Talking about the children of Israel. And he pursued us with the sword, and he cast off all pity, man. All pity. Alright, this is Ezekiel 35:3. "And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, O Mount Seir," which Seir was speaking about. That was the lands of the so-called white man, the Edomites. That